Recently, I've seen a big difference between two groups of people on this acquisition journey. One group has gone through problems, identified the problems, we've worked on a solution, and they've overcome them. And the other group has decided, well, maybe this isn't for me. And it reminded me of an email I got from my personal trainer. And he sent this to his group, and it reads as follows. Every January 1st, tons of people sign up for gym memberships. Then by the end of the month, most of these, quote, newcomers, unquote, are gone. The sad thing is most people don't stick with their workout routines. They set all these big goals for themselves, but when the time comes to put in the work, they end up slinking away. If you're like most people, I'm guessing at some point you've made some big commitment to get healthier. You've gone on a diet or started an exercise routine, but you didn't stick with it. You broke into a big tub of ice cream and all of a sudden your diet was over. Or you skipped a few workouts because you were tired and all of a sudden your exercise routine was over. You might have told yourself there's no coming back after this. Or you might have told yourself, well, life gets in the way. But the real problem is you weren't motivated enough. And fortunately, he goes on to say there are a few motivation hacks that you can take advantage of. And what I wanted to talk about was two things that happened this week with people that shows how quickly sometimes you can turn things around. I had a mentee who said, I'm terrified of making cold calls. And in his case, actually, they were warm calls because he was following up with a letter. So we talked about why that was. If someone called him, he wasn't afraid at all. But if he had to reach out, he was. And the first part of that was convincing himself that he actually had something of value for the other person and that he was, if you will, doing them a favor by contacting them. The second thing is we said, okay, so tomorrow just make 5 calls. Nobody died that I'm aware of for making a cold call or a warm call, but just go ahead and make 5 calls. And he said, okay, I'm terrified to make calls, but tomorrow I'm going to make 5 calls. We talked the following day. Well, he didn't make 5 calls. He, in fact, did make 5 calls, but he continued on to make for the week 300 calls. And the last time I talked with him, he explained to me that he was a machine when it came to making cold calls. And that was with 1 week's change. Why was that? And it's a very simple change. It's only because he had a mindset change in doing what he was doing. The second one was a mentee, and I did a video on this, who felt, quote unquote, a little gloomy. Good guy, making progress, but just things weren't going exactly the way he thought they were, and you will always have some setbacks along the way. So he refocused. He went back to his why for doing this. He went back to his affirmations. And what a difference, again, a week makes in how reaching out to prospects, the message he was giving was so much different. He was focused on what was important to them, not what was important to him. And it turned around his situation. So I would encourage you to think about that. You can decide that this is important for you and you're going to do whatever it takes to get to the goal line, or you can decide that, well, no, this is tougher than I thought and maybe this isn't for me. And I've said this a lot, but this process is simple. Simple is not the same as easy. But as I look at the successes that are happening and the speed at which some of them are happening, you would look at these people and say, okay, in the end, for those that succeed, and I can't guarantee you will succeed, that's up to you, that it was worth it for them. There are some openings in the group coaching, and there are 1 or 2 openings in the VIP Mastermind. So if you're interested in that, certainly go over to the website and look at those details and email me if you understand what the commitment is and whether you want to do that or not, and we'll talk about whether you're fit. The other thing, go over to brucewhipple.com, grab that free class, and that will also put you on the mailing list to receive 3 emails a week, which are actionable emails. And if you want to just go there directly, it's brucewhipple.com/free class. But remember that success is in fact on the razor's edge of failure. So often it is just a minor shift in something to drastically change the results. And I hope that you think about that, take the action required, and that you stick through this. And I hope in the end you've come to realize that yes, it was hard work, but boy, was it certainly worth it.